Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Ari and Mummy, and today we are exploring a fragrance that is a classic masterpiece in my opinion, but it can also be polarizing. Tom Ford's Beau De Jour. Now, Tom Ford has a reputation for creating fragrances that manifest elegance, boldness, and class. And I think Beau De Jour has all three in a bottle, and it instantly caught my attention when I smelled it in a store in San Francisco. For those of you that do not know, this one was initially introduced back in 2019 as part of the private blend collection with all the good stuff, and it was later added to the signature line in 2020. To me, it smells like a modern interpretation of a grown-up classic scent, and I think that right there might not work for everyone. I mean, I absolutely love the scent, but I can understand how some people might find it a little bit too grown up. When it comes to the presentation, the style of the bottle is quite classy and refined. The ribbed glass bottle really goes well with the polished silver cap and the label that comes with it. And it kind of stands out when you put it on your dresser. This bottle looks different. On the downside though, the cap feels pretty light and I would even say cheap, which is not what you get and what you would expect from a Tom Ford fragrance. And another, and probably the only other downside, is the atomizer, which is simply bad. It is just bad. When you use it, it gives out an uneven and kind of a narrow mist with low volume that makes you need to spray more to get good coverage. And for a cologne with this price, which is not quite cheap, you would expect a higher quality or even a premium feeling cap and atomizer, but that is not what you get here at all. Now, some people do not really care about the bottle design or the atomizer, and I get that, I understand it, but I think they do actually matter, especially the atomizer. Maybe not the bottle design, but the atomizer actually does matter because it can impact the performance of the cologne. Depending on the volume and depending on the spread of the fragrance that you spray, it will influence the way that the cologne behaves. Going over the good stuff about how it actually smells, when you first sprayed it on, you quickly notice a very strong burst of lavender that makes the opening both fresh and pleasant, in my opinion, and it gives it that refined and classy kind of a vibe. But I can also understand how this strong dose of a lavender might make some people think it's either bitter or if it's too grown up, you know. But that is one of those things that goes back to your personal style and your preference, you know. To my nose, the opening is awesome, and this is what makes everybody say this kind of a scent profile is reminiscent of a classic barbershop, which is obviously true, but still has a modern twist to this barbershop-y classic scent. As it starts to settle, you will begin to get notes of rosemary, a bit of mint, and of course oak moss, you know, and they will all work together to add a green and slightly spicy dimension to the overall scent profile, if that makes sense. In my experience, there's a relatively linear transition between the opening and the midtones, and you still get lavender coming off and getting mixed with this green and kind of spicy midtone, which makes it quite interesting. In the dry down, you will get a good dose of patchouli. I mean a good dose of patchouli undertone that sticks there and gets mixed with this earthy kind of a vibe that you get from the midtones and the amber. And like I said, it lasts for a long time. In my experience, the patchouli is the main contributor to the base layer. And since it's one of those notes that I really like, I truly enjoy the dry down. But if you're not a big fan of patchouli, I don't think this is for you. And similar to the midtones, I think the way the scent evolves over time is pretty linear. And I kind of like it because it gives you not too many surprises, you know what to expect. And from the moment you spray it on to the moment it goes through the midtones and the base layers, I would say pretty much stays, I wouldn't say the same, but stays pretty linear. The changes are quite linear. And overall, I think the scent profile offers a very good balance blend of freshness and depth, and that makes it a versatile choice for various occasions. You can pull this off both in formal settings like meetings or going into the office. I've worn this to the office many times, and also in formal environments like going out and even going on dates. This thing works in all those scenarios. The scent experience itself is so classy. It is very masculine. It honestly reminds me of a well put together guy, 30, 35 and above, and somebody who has his life together, if that makes sense. You know, this is the kind of scent that and experience that it creates in my brain. And if that's what you like and if that's what you're aiming for, this one is the right scent. And for the performance, I like strong fragrances. I don't want my cologne to go away after just 2 hours, you know. So that's why everything that I get, I try to always get good performing ones. And this one, like many other Tom Ford fragrances, this one has a very solid performance and it easily stays 8 to 10 hours on my skin. And trust me, for days on my clothes. If you sprayed it on your clothes and come back to it after a couple of days, you'll see it's still there and it will still leave I would say a very gorgeous trail in the air when you get your nose close to it. It has a very pleasant trail after a few days. And with that being said about the longevity, I wouldn't say it projects heavily. After the first hour or two, it's closer to the skin. It's pretty close to the skin, and I would say it makes it safe. You know, you don't want to choke people. And despite the fact that it is still a fresh scent, this is still one of those fresh scents that you don't want to overspray because it has that sweet and heavy undertone, and if you overspray it, it's going to be a little bit difficult to handle, if that makes sense. To make it simple, I think Beau De Jour is a masterpiece in its own style, you know. If you like classy barbershop-y scents, you can't really go wrong with this one, and I think it just recreates a classic and quite masculine scent with a modern twist with that heavy lavender opening and a mixture of patchouli and amber that it has in the dry down. It is an aromatic and pretty grown-up scent, and I'd say it's versatile if you're into that type of style. This is the kind of cologne that you can use all year round, but I think spring and fall are the best times to use it. You can, of course, definitely use it in the summer too, but if it's a very hot summer day, I wouldn't really recommend it. It has that like spring, fall kind of a character to it, so use it on summer days and summer evenings that are a little bit, I wouldn't say colder, the temperature is not too high. You know? And basically, if you're someone who appreciates timeless elegance with a modern contemporary edge, I think you'll definitely appreciate this one too. All right, that wraps up my review of Tom Ford's Beau De Jour, and I'm honestly happy I own a bottle of it. I've seen rumors online that this thing is getting discontinued. I do not know, I cannot confirm that, but if it actually gets discontinued, you might want to get your hands on the bottle because I'm telling you, this is good stuff. If you've experienced this fragrance before, let me know what you think, and with that, I'll catch you in the next one.